Ada. Any. Leva. Como que leva? Leva. Leva. Pessoa. એવું છે તો અહીંયા પેલા કર્યું એમ કે અહીંયા કર્યું યાદ તો કર્યો
अरे मणि लिया उसका हेल्थ अच्छा नहीं है, जाने दो, रहेगा तो तकलीफ।
Good morning to you all. Am I audible?
Yes, Dr. Vijay, you are
Yes,
audible.
yes.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I request to all the participants, please keep your camera on. Yes. Again, once again, I request all the participants, please keep your camera on. Okay. So a very warm good morning to you all, respected dignitaries, eminent speakers of the different sessions, participants, including faculties, scientists, veterinarians, personnel from meat and dairy industry, PG and PhD students, staff of Maharashtra Animal and Fisheries Sciences University, Nagpur, and from different organizations across the country. Today, myself, Dr. Vilas Vaidya, OPI, NAHEP, and we all gathered here for the inaugural function of 10 days National E-Training Program on advances in quality assurance and hygienic production of animal origin foods, which is going to be scheduled from today on 17th January 2022 to till 28th January 2022 under the World Bank funded ICR NAHEP CAST project, that is Center of Excellence for Advanced Research on Animal Food Safety. Now I request respected Dr. A.S. Ranade sir, Project Implementing Officer and Associate Dean of our college, Mumbai Veterinary College, Mumbai, for welcome address. Dr. Ranade sir, please.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Vaidya. I welcome all of you for this 10 days National E-Training Program on advances in quality assurance and hygienic production of animal origin foods. As we know, the importance of animal origin foods has been increasing day by day, especially with respect to the increase in the immunity and getting good quality protein for the human beings. So it's an excellent attempt by Dr. Jhende and his team to organize this 10 days e-training program on this particular topic. We at MAFSU, including our Honorable Vice Chancellor, is very much concerned about the hygienic production of animal origin foods and what all contaminations can come through the animal origin foods. So to begin with, let me welcome everybody, all the dignitaries, speakers, and listeners for this webinar. First of all, I heartily welcome Colonel Dr. Professor A.M. Paturkar, Vice Chancellor, Maharashtra Animal and Fisheries Sciences University, Nagpur, who has been the backbone and a source of inspiration for organizing different programs. This is one of it. Thank you, sir, for that. I welcome Dr. R.C. Agarwal, DDG Education, ICR, and the National Director of NAHEP, ICR, New Delhi. Welcome, sir. You have been a constant source of inspiration for us. I also welcome Dr. Prabhat Kumar, National Coordinator, NAHEP CAST, ICR, New Delhi. As we all know, three important dignitaries from the university, Dr. Upadhyay, Dr. Bhikane, and Dr. Shahatpure, are busy with some important meeting, but I welcome them whenever they come back. And here I welcome Dr. N.V. Kurkure, the Director of Research, Maharashtra Animal and Fisheries Sciences University, Nagpur, for this particular webinar. His inputs definitely will matter a lot. I also welcome Dr. P.G. Vasnik, Dean, Faculty of Dairy Technology, MAFSU, Nagpur. I welcome and congratulate Dr. R.J. Zhende, Principal Scientist or Principal Investigator of NAHEP CAST MVC, Mumbai, along with his co-organizing secretaries, Dr. S.D. Ingole, Dr. R.S. Gandage, Dr. R.V. Gaikwad, and Dr. B.N. Ramteke. Welcome all of you. I also welcome all the team of NAHEP CAST and Dr. Jhende's team who has organized this particular program for this particular function. And of course, not the least, but all the speakers, the eminent speakers who are joined and who will be joining over the period of 10 days for delivering various topics, lectures on various topics in this particular program. I welcome all of you. It's a very, very important topic and a very, very pertinent topic as of today in order to ensure the health and safety of the food that we consume for human beings. Thank you very much, Dr. Jhende, for giving me the opportunity to welcome all the dignitaries, the team members, as well as the speakers and the listeners, viewers who have joined this webinar. I wish all success for this particular webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the welcome address and always encouragement and support to us. Now I request Dr. R.J. Jhende sir, Professor and Principal Investigator of Naib Caste MAPSU, to brief about the training program. Jhende sir, please.
Yeah, good morning to everyone. Respected the worthy Colonel Dr. Professor A. M. Paturka sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor MAPSU, Dr. R.C. Agarwal sir, DDG Education and National Director NAHEB ICR New Delhi, Dr. Prabhat Kumar sir, and National Coordinator NC NHP Caste, Dr. S.V. Upadhyay sir, DI and Dean Faculty of Veterinary Science, MAPSU Nagpur, Dr. N.V. Kurkure sir, Director of Research, Dr. Vikas Vaskar, Director of Extension, Dr. P.G. Vasnik, Dean Faculty of Data Technology, Dr. Professor A. Ranade sir, Associate Dean and Project Implementing Officer, Mumbai Veterinary College, Mumbai, and all Associate Deans of Constituent Colleges, MAPSU, participant, other fellow colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. So today we are virtually gathered here for the inaugural function of the 10 days National E-Training Program on advances in quality assurance and hygienic production of foods of animal origin, organized under the World Bank funded NHB Caste MAPSU project entitled Center of Excellence for Advanced Research on Animal Food Safety. This training program will be for the 10 days from 17 to 28 January 2022. As you all know that for the awareness of the common consumers on the quality of the animals, the source food according to the animal production and the food processing conditions, including consumers' expectations, behavior, and the effect of the consumption of animal source foods on human health is paramount important. And this quality merely doesn't mean that the product is appear good and the packaging material is very good, but nowadays this quality factor is mainly defined, including the 7 core attributes, namely like safety, then commercial aspect, sensory qualities, the nutritional quality, technological quality, convenience, and image. And this image is nowadays it is mainly important as far as the various products are coming into the globally market. So this image covers mainly the ethical, cultural, and environmental dimension of the which are associated with the origin of the food and the way it is produced and processed. Nowadays, consumers are very aware about how this food is get prepared and served. The consumers they are more concerned about this aspect as far as the quality of the animal origin food is concerned. So quality can be gained, you know that, but it can also be lost throughout the farm to fork continuum because various processing factors which may involved in production of the any quality food. The critical factors which are mainly involved throughout the animal production, the food processing routes, such as on-farm practices, notably animal feeding, pre-slaughter, slaughter phases, food processing techniques, and food formulations. So these are very critical factors in order to produce the hygienic food. Every country, therefore, we should have the effective national food control system, which are essential to protect the health and the safety of domestic consumers. So they are also critical in enabling the country to assure the safety and the quality of their food entering into the international market, or they're imported in their countries in order to conform to the national requirement. The new global environment for food trade places considerable obligations on both importing and exporting countries to strengthen their food control systems and to implement and impose risk-based strategies. And nowadays, consumers are taking unprecedented risks in the ways the food is produced, processed, and marketed. Nowadays, you can everyone here in the house they visit the different hotels, 5-star hotel, 3-star hotels. You can see their kitchens are nowadays it is open to all. So the customer see that how this food is processed and served to the common consumer. And based on that, the FAO and WHO also have the strong interest in promoting the national food control system that are based on the scientific principles and the guidelines, and therefore which addresses all the sectors of the food chain, either it is large meat industry, small meat industry, dairy, poultry, all these food chain sectors are involved. And therefore, it is particularly important for the developing countries like India as they seek to achieve the improved food safety, quality, and nutrition, but will require also the high level of political and the policy commitment for getting this or implemented this food control system in our country. So globalization of the food chain has happened. Okay, we are exporting our product, food product to the all the countries, including the Gulf countries and Europe and other countries. So that because of this globalization, there is an increasing the importance of the Codex Alimentarius Commission and obligations emerging from the World Trade Organization agreement like SPS and the TBT. And that has resulted in unprecedented interest in the development of the food standards and the regulations and the strengthening of this food control infrastructure at country level. And each country, while implementing this food control system, that they have to develop this food control infrastructure, and they are facing certain challenges. And these challenges are number one is increasing burden of the foodborne illnesses, and the new and emerging foodborne hazards are coming up into the food, and how to control that. So that is the scientists and we all together we have to formulate some certain standards and improve the hygienic conditions of the food which are produced at our national level. Second is the rapidly changing technologies in the food production, processing, marketing. Okay, you can see that various different marketing strategies people they are adopting for popularizing their product, for accepting the consumer very easily, for having this kind of the food. Third is developing science-based food control systems with focus on the consumer protection. This is main we have to target today's the consumer protection, how the people they will get safe food into the market. And fourth is international food trade and the need for the harmonization of the food safety and the quality standard. So what are the standards, national standards are there? We have to harmonize properly so that we can, our product can be accepted at globally into the international market. And we have seen that the changes in the lifestyle of the people, including the rapid urbanization and the growing consumer awareness of the food safety and quality issues and increasing the demand for the better information. So people with sitting at home by searching on the Google and all this, the people they can understand what are the kind of the food products are available in the market, and they have a choice. And because of their income has been also increased, and people go for what kind of quality foods are available. They don't bother about what the cost is. So therefore, it's important to develop a effective relationship and a mutual support among the government agencies and the institutions involved in the food control and other stakeholders, particularly the food industry and the consumer group is very, very essential in this matter. A concerted and collective effort is needed for the scientists which are working in animal science, food process engineering, then consumer science, human nutrition, and epidemiology in order to address this research gap, which are mainly for the production of the hygienic food. And therefore, this training program has been organized. And this is also very important for the faculties which are working in the education institute like our university. And as per the ICR and VCI recommendations are concerned, every faculty has to undergo 10 and 21 days training program for their as a curriculum of their requirement of the faculties. And also, similarly, we have to also create an awareness among the other stakeholders like industry people. Okay, in the today's arena, we have to see that PG, PhD student also we have to make them ready for the industry so that they can go and work in the food industries as such. So such kind of the stakeholders we have to develop, and for that purpose, this training program of 10 days we have organized here. So in this training program, we have invited about 20 very reliable and experienced, rich experienced people as a speaker, and they will be talking on the various topics which are mainly covered right from the farm till the product reaches to the consumer or the marketing side. And also we have also invited some of the speaker from the legal legislations, food legislation agencies like APEDA, then FSSI, and also the Exporting Inspection Council. So this is a full proof. You can see that the training programs we can get, and with a single 10 days training program, we'll get all the information about the meat industry. So for that reason, we are fortunate to have this 20 eminent speakers across the country, having the rich experience in their concerned expert areas for this training program. So they will definitely deliver the latest information in their subject allotted for this program. And I welcome them and thank each one for them for accepting our invitation in very short notice. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for briefing about the importance of today's training program, that is advances in quality assurance and hygienic production of animal origin foods. Now I request today's Guest of honor, respected Dr. Nitin V. Kurkure, sir, Director of Research, MAPSU, Nagpur, to address the participants.
Good morning, all. Respected Colonel Dr. Professor A.M. Paturkar, Honorable Vice Chancellor of our university, respected Dr. R.C. Agrawal, Director General, DDG and National Director for Nayab Caste, Dr. Prabhat Kumar, National Coordinator, Nayab Caste, my colleagues, Dr. Upadhyay, Dr. Bikane, Dr. Vasnik, Dr. Sahatpure, Project Implementing Officer, Professor Dr. A.S. Ranade, and Principal Investigator Dr. R.J. Jhende and his team, co-PIs nodal officers for this project. Good morning, all. We are here for inaugural session of the 10 days national e-learning, e-training on advances in quality assurance and hygienic production of animal origin foods. In today's context, this area of the training is very, very much important. And from our university side, I am thankful to the NAHEP ICR New Delhi for granting us this project under caste. In this project, we have organized till date many of the trainings in the area of the food security, food safety, like that. This is one of them. And in next year also, we will be organizing many more trainings. Actually, we wanted to do it very physical way, but because of this pandemic, it could not be happen. So this is one way that we are organizing such trainings. And I congratulate Dr. Jhende for organizing series of the trainings and taking this topic for this training. Also, I could see some 190 participants for this training. That itself indicates how important this topic is and how much interest is there in the industry as well as in the students and the faculty about this topic. India, earlier 50, 60 years back, we were struggling for the security, food security. Now, so far, we have covered up that topic. Now, all we are interested to see for the food safety. From security, we have moved to safety now. There is a sufficient or enough amount of the protein and energy food is available with us. Now it's time to look for the safety. Government of India is working on it since last 2 decades, but still it has not been percolated to the masses, and awareness is being created. And as the awareness is being created, the importance of this topic is gaining more and more. I could see the training, the lectures, those who have been speakers, those who have been invited for this, they are very learned in their own disciplines and they are expert of their topics. So they will deliver a very nice lectures for the participants, and participants can gain much more things from this training. Though it is in virtual mode, if any of the participant is interested in any of the particular topic, from the organizers or from the training organizers, I assure you, you can contact them and they can make you more knowledgeable about that subject in the latter period of time. So this is in 10 days, no one can teach you everything about this aspect, but okay, the information will be passed on to it. If you are interested in some topic, the organizers will take care that you will be given more knowledge about it. Already, Dr. Jhende has narrated about why this training was organized and why it has been held. So I expect that this training will deliver the best, and you, as you have joined this training, you will get whatever is expected from this training. That is how I wish. I wish all the success for this training. Thank you. Thanks to one and all.
Thank you very much, sir, for delivering an excellent information and valuable guidance on today's program, and always your support, cooperation and encouragement to us. As Dr. S.V. Upadhyay sir, Director of Instructions and Dean MAPSU Nagpur, is busy with another parallel meeting with honorable ministers. Now I request our chief guest of today's training program, Dr. Prabhat Kumar sir, National Coordinator, Naib Caste, ICR, New Delhi, to address the participants. Dr. Prabhat Kumar sir, please.
Thank you very much for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to share with the dignitaries of today's program and dear participants. I'm seeing the Honorable Vice Chancellor is visible here, and most of the authorities are not, as you said, busy somewhere. So at the outset, let me welcome Dr. Patrukar Saab and other dignitaries of the university, and particularly the PI of the program that MAPSI is hosting from our side. When Dr. Jende asked me to be a chief guest, I said that I think I just can motivate the people because it's not my domain to discuss over the quality assurance of the animal origin food. But after listening the few people in the beginning, I come to know that this is a very important aspect in today's context. If you see really what is happening in and around, this hygiene and quality is become a buzzword for the market. And if you the thing is that now people are having the paying capacity and the technology particularly. It enables the people for the traceability. You can trace the product, that is very much important. And the topic of today is very pertinent because it's not a quality control, but it is a quality assurance. So the assurance and control both are the different angle in any production system. So it is a good because the assurance is the start from the beginning itself, and it is from the feed to the last product, from the field to the from the field to fork. So that is very important because we must know, and that is said by our PI. I have gone through some documents of the FAO where they have developed a full protocol, SOPs, and what is required in the meat industry and particular animal origin food. But one thing is very important, what I will tell you with my experience. People in an urban area, they are becoming more cautious about the quality because today's, if you see the urban growth and if you realize the consumption islands, you will find in coming 2050. And most of the people are working people, you will find, and they are not having the time to go for fresh. What I am visualizing at a national level, if you see, mostly earlier if you see, people were not actually willing to have any program, anything that is of processed in nature. Just with my experience, I'll tell you, before when the big basket was launched, I'll tell you, people were having the apprehension, how will it go, where the customer is having habit to touch the product and see it physically, then only they purchase the fruit and vegetables. But if you see, before, just after second wave, during the second wave, the big basket has jumped in a geometric means in the order, and now you see the future. Tata has purchased it. So what I'm telling you, basically, this particular millennial population, what is going to happen and be here in the country, what the other part of the world has faced. Nobody is having time to go and see. Ultimately, the brand number one, the quality, then traceability, then your SPS measures. Those are very important, not only for the export market. Earlier, we used to tell the things about the export market, but now, whatever quality we were thinking for the export, that quality is indeed in need in a domestic market too. That we have to keep in mind. Now we have to change our introduction. Everywhere we are writing the export quality product, export quality, this SPS traceability, this anything branding. but it's not like that. Is a sector you will find in our population also, they are for the export quality product, they are having that swollen pocket, they can purchase it. So the importance what I am highlighting, that is very high and is very demanding in a quality and hygiene. And the parameters already discussed, 7 core parameters. I am not going to repeat it, but only I will emphasize, because it is a simply one we are interacting, and 10 days training program. People are going to deliver a lecture. So it is basically a knowledge transfer from one experienced person to another needy. So how we are going to utilize it, that is one of the important aspects. Because if you visualize, a lot of trainings are happening. I will request Jende sir, because in our program, particularly in World Bank program, when we are going to impart any training, we have to measure it. What is going to change? So if you are not having that tool, you can take from the Rahuri. They have developed the tool and you can modify it, because it's a cross learning. We are having the 16 task partner. So from the partners you can learn. So you can take that tool and you have to do a survey, because it is now a little bit late. Otherwise you would have gone for a survey of their knowledge base of your training. Later on, after imparting 10 days, you would have measured their outcome. So that's the word in your presentation in the World Bank. You can say these are the changes taken place after that, because it's a simply delivering the lecture and distributing the certificate. It is not going to solve the problem, because you already have been in our one of the review program. There our task team leader asked, if you have gone through such a training, where is the some any tool, have you measured something that changes occurred? So I'm not going to tell you what they are going to do later on, because it is again continuous process. That is important. How many have gone from here? They have started writing the research paper. How many have gone there from there? They have started writing some project on that quality assurance and hygiene. How people are going to utilize that knowledge, that is very much important. But at least at this juncture, we can measure the changes taken place in the learner. So that is one of my message to you, and try to find out that tool and you measure it. Otherwise, simply you can have you have a good team at MAFSU. You can prepare questions on related to quality assurance and hygiene, and you just float it, see how much people are scoring it, and later on after this deliberations, again you prepare a paper and see the same, how much enhancement is there, that you can present in the pie diagram, and you can say these are the learner outcomes after this deliberations. So with these words, because uh, people are waiting to listen the people, those who are of the expert in this domain. So I will not take too much time, but only thank uh, whole team, and particularly Dr. Paturkar Sahab, who has been always an inspiration as a source for the people, those who are working there, and for us also. And he actually, whenever I attended, I found him in the program. That is one of the best quality of leader. Be present there when your team is working. And I have seen him. He's from his busiest schedule. He always got a time to be here. So thank you, sir. From the CAST family side, I'm just thanking you, and my particularly distinguished expert, I'm also welcoming them and thanking on the behalf of the team. You have accepted our invitation. Since it is extended family, that's why I'm taking this liberty. And my dearest trainee and the team. So I'm wishing a very great days, and those 10 days, the learning days. So because already we always we are meeting on virtual mode, I tried to come, but it is not possible to call you people as well my travel plan. But due to virtual mode, even we are meeting. And one thing is very important, you see, in today's 10 days, you will be very busy. So that is also important in a third wave, that is Omicron. So basically, you cannot rest your mind, if the word is resting, people are saying to maintain the isolation, distance, and everything. But I'll quote one of the saying: the human mind is as restless as monkey and as intoxicated as elephant. So, providing feast in that type of moment and providing, opportunity to engage your mind, that is also important. Again, I'm thanking the team. They are going to provide you a productive time to engage your mind for 10 days when Omicron is actually rising and people are saying that you be at isolation, be at home, in office. So at least you can engage, so you can keep yourself healthy. Thanking again, thank you very much, Patrukar Saab, Jande Saab, for inviting me, and I have shared my thought and highlighted the importance of this particular chain. I'm not going to speak on detail because experts are there. Once again, I wish a great success to this particular training and good takeaway to my trainees. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir, for your indeed motivating and excellent speech and valuable information on quality assurance and hygiene about foods and your valuable time in spite of your busy schedule. And we are so honored and privileged to have you amongst us. And also, we are very much thankful for sanctioning that you have sanctioned the project, NAHE project through MAPSU. Thank you very much, sir. Now I request the president of today's inauguration of training program, Colonel Dr. Professor Respected A.M. Paturkar sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor MAPSU Nagpur, to give his presidential address.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vilas. Thanks for inviting me. Today's Dr. R.C. Agrawal, DDG Education. Then our today's chief guest, Dr. Prabhat Kumar, National Coordinator, Naib Caste, Associate Dean of the College, Dr. S. Ranade, all my colleagues, deans and directors of the MAPSU, Principal Investigator, Dr. R.J. Jende, all other participants, speakers invited from all over India. I have gone through the topics and proper selection was made by organizing committee of Naib Caste at Mumbai Veterinary College. Thank you very much once again for inviting me. This is a 10 days training program on advances in quality assurance and hygienic production of animal origin foods. This is not a new thing, but it is appropriate in today's context because quality assurance goes on improving day by day. Quality control, the measures taken, what are the new things which is going to come. Dr. Jende has narrated everything. But in fact, what I want to say is India is having at par with international standard infrastructures with so many companies, right from processing, harvesting, production, packaging, storage, shelf life, everything. Whether we are going to produce, as rightly pointed out by Dr. Mandal, whether we are able to produce the quality which is need of an hour, it is at par with international standard in our country. Because now people has got buying capacity. People require the quality which is needed at par with the international standard. If you observe the few things, there are so many multinationals whose quality assurance is or quality control is at par with other countries what they are manufacturing their same product. I can give few examples. McDonald's is there, Pizza Hut is there, Burger King is there. So many multinational chocolate companies are there. So we are producing the quality which is at par with international standard. And we are also able to supply them from the country itself, that is from the India only, what quality they require to produce their or process their products. It means we have got capacity, we have got capabilities to produce the product. Only what we need to change is the mindset. Mindset of the people, maybe it is a consumer, maybe it is a producer, maybe it is a processor, which needs to be changed little bit. Now, people are now aware about the quality. In our generation, we were used to go and purchase the chicken slaughtered on the side of the road. Now, next generation will not. Next generation will go to mall or order online. So, what are the solutions for such problems in the country, huge country like India? How we are going to way forward to address these issues? And how we are going to train the people, which is unorganized sector. Animal origin food is most of the places it is unorganized, in the hands of untrained people. Forget about export market. What about the Indian market, which is more than the export market? Huge. So we need to change the mindset of the people, what we are going to produce, how we are going to produce, and chalta hai, ye attitude change hona chahiye. And second thing, what we are lacking, we have standards also. FSSI has given us the standard which are at par with international standard codex. But only availability of standard does not mean that we can produce. How to comply those? For that, what are the requirements? Those are the things need to be discussed thoroughly. Most of the people I know, I know them since last 20, 25 years. Dr. Palse is there, so many people. But how we are going to improve this and how industry is going to change, especially animal origin foods industry. Quality of raw material is a big problem. Traceability is a problem in our country. Then absence of cold chain. Those, because this is a tropical country and you need all these things at the place. Then only you can control the quality. So all these things are definitely going to be discussed in your 10 days training program. I wish all the best to all. I have gone through the list of speakers also. They are renowned speakers from all over country. And good topics has been chosen by the organizers. So thank you very much once again. And I wish all the best to this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable guidance, inspirations, motivation, and encouragement to the participants across the country in your presidential remark about the hygienic and quality production of animal origin foods at per the standards at national as well as international level. We are very much thankful for your valuable time in spite of busy schedule. Thanks a lot, sir. Now I request Dr. V.S. Shukla, OPI Naib Caste Mapsu, to give vote of thanks. Dr. Vivek.
Thank you, sir. I, Dr. V.S. Shukla, co-PI and Assistant Professor, Department of Livestock Process Technology, Mumbai Veterinary College, on behalf of MAPSU Nagpur and Mumbai Veterinary College, extends a very hearty vote of thanks to all the dignitaries, colleagues, participants, and guests for joining us here today on the occasion of the inauguration program of 10 days National E-Training Program on Advances in Quality Assurance and Hygienic Production of Animal Origin Foods, which is organized under the World Bank funded ICR Naib Caste project. First and foremost, I would like to thank Colonel Dr. Professor A.M. Paturkar sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor MAPSU, who has been the constant source of inspiration for all of us in organizing this training program, without which this training program program could not have been possible to organize. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank respected Dr. R.C. Agrawal, sir, National Director, NAHEP Caste, and DDG Agriculture Education, ICR New Delhi, who, because of his busy schedule, could not find the time to grace this occasion. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank respected Dr. Prabhat Kumar, sir, National Coordinator, NAHEP Caste, ICR, New Delhi, for gracing this occasion and support. Thank you, sir. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the respected Dr. S.B. Upadhyay, sir, DI and Dean, Faculty of Veterinary Science, MAPSU, Nagpur. Respected Dr. N.V. Kurkure, sir, Director of Research, MAPSU, Nagpur. Respected Dr. P.G. Vasnik, sir, Faculty of Dairy Technology, MAPSU, Nagpur. Respected Dr. A.U. Vikane, sir, Director of Extension Education, MAPSU, Nagpur, for their constant support and guidance. I express my heartfelt thanks to all the speakers who have agreed to deliver the lectures in this training program. Despite their busy schedules and accepting our invitation in such a short period of time, it will be a pleasure to listen you all and sharing your ideas. I would like to thank our beloved Associate Dean and Course Director, respected Dr. Professor A.R. Sarante, sir, for his constant support, help, and encouragement for organizing this training program. I also extend my thanks to the respected Dr. Rajesh Jende, sir, Principal Investigator, NAHEP Caste, and Course Director for this training program, for working tirelessly to arrange this training program. I extend my thanks to Dr. V.M. Vaid, sir, COPI for guiding, COPI NAHEP Caste, for guiding us to make this training a grand success. I extend my thanks to all the COPIs of the project who have taken a lot of efforts for organizing this wonderful event. I would like to thank all the project staff of NAHEP Caste who have worked very hard for organizing this training program. I extend my thanks to all the participants who have registered for this training program all across the country, and it is my belief that it will be a great experience for all of them. And last but not least, I appreciate the efforts taken by the team of NAHEP, all staff members and students of MBC, and I thank all of them for making this event a grand success. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek, for the vote of thanks. Now, with the permission of chair, I declare that this inaugural program is over. Thank you, one and all. Now, I request Dr. R.J. Jende, sir, PI and Course Director, to start the request you to start the technical session of today's program.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Today we have two lectures, and the speaker, Dr. S.B. Prasanna, is Associate Professor and Head, Department of Livestock Farm Complex, Veterinary College, Gadag, Karnataka, is going to talk on advanced technologies used in the caring and the proper management of food animals at farm level. And another speaker, Dr. Vikas Vaskar, is a Professor and Head, Department of Veterinary Public Health, Kranti Singh Nana Patil College of Veterinary Science, Shirwar, District Satara, Maharashtra. So he is going to talk on the regulatory guidelines and the challenging issues in the transportation of food animals. So I'm happy to tell you about for registration of this participant. So the total registered participants are 480, and now I think they have joined about 265 now in online. I think they will start joining further also. So now I invite the first speaker, Dr. S.B. Prasanna, sir, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Livestock Farm Complex, Veterinary College, to speak on advanced technology is used in caring and proper management of food animals at farm level. Dr. Prasanna, sir, please. Sorry, I just introduced to the participants the brief introduction of the Dr. Prasanna, sir. Dr. Prasanna, sir, is currently serving as an associate professor and head Department of Livestock Farm Complex, Veterinary College, Gadag. He is since 2016, about 1500 years of experience. He has been working as assistant professor at College of Veterinary College, Bangalore for 8 years and Veterinary College, Hassan for the 6 years. He has been teaching veterinary students, leading to be with an age and the postgraduate and PhD students. He was awarded inside this award by LPM Society in 2003 for his master's research, and he has guided 4 MVC students of LPM department so far. He was nominated as a key driver for animal welfare in India by WSPA Thailand, Bangkok from 2008 to 16. He has done higher studies in animal welfare assessment, and he has visited some of the Asian countries like Bangkok, Malaysia, Philippines, Taiwan, and delivered lecture on good animal welfare practices in India. He has conducted two international workshops for faculties on animal welfare at Hassan in 2011 and Bareilly, UP in 2013. He was instrumental for starting a postgraduate diploma in animal welfare from IGNOU, New Delhi on online mode for undergraduate students of different streams. He has having interest in some of the areas like mechanization, automation in dairy and poultry industries. He has been head of the livestock farm such as dairy, piggery, sheep, goat units at veterinary college. He has collaborated with agronomists for year-round fodder production using the super Napier crop for livestock. Yes, the main focus is to provide the project for starting dairy, sheep, goat farm with a scientific designing of the shades and the low-cost technologies such as hydroponic fodder and azola, etc. He has published more than 30 scientific research papers, newspaper articles, e-books on the laboratory animal management, animal welfare management, and livestock management during disaster. So the Dr. Prasanna is well versed with what are the practices, manual practices, and care to be taken for the animals at farm level. So I invite Dr. Prasanna sir to present his topic, please. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Good morning. I am just finding difficulty in sharing the content. I'll just.
Sir, you just open your slide first on your PC, and then you share. Okay, open up. Please open your PPT on your screen, and then from there you can share. It will automatically come. Yeah.
Sir, respected sir, I'm when I put on this presentation slide, it is getting
Sir, it is visible,
disconnected.
invisible, sir. Huh?
I
Then only we will send a abhipraya.
Dr. Prasanna, can we share
um,
from our
yes,
side?
just a moment. Can you see my presentation now?
Yes, yes. Yes, yes.
Yes. I can begin my presentation, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's visible. Please.
Yeah.
Right, sir.
So,
Okay, sir. I will begin my presentation. I'm very warm good morning to all the participants here, respected chief patrons, course directors, organizing secretaries, especially Dr. Zende, sir, and my colleague Dr. YGM. I thank this opportunity having given me to present this wonderful topic on the advanced technologies used in the care and management of food animals at the farm level. So I'm briefly going to cover the information that can be helpful for the good animal welfare practices to use the advanced technologies that are presently available to do the better care and management so that we can get better food from the animals, and what things can be considered at the farm level. So the objectives of this presentation are to show what are the advanced technologies available in the food animals care and management, especially the ruminants and non-ruminants. Secondly, to improve the scientific methods of the livestock welfare management to increase the profitability and sustainability. With a small introduction, that is, look at the India's human population, which is about 1,400 million, while the animal population is totally about 535 million, which includes cattle 193 million, buffaloes 110 million, sheep 74.4 million, goat 149.9 million. According to the Malthusian theory, the Malthus stated that the population increased in the geometric progression while the food production increased in the arithmetic progression. So we are lagging behind in the production of the food to meet the growing requirements of the growing population. So let us see what are the technologies that are available so that we can come up to the geometric progression level in the animal production and the hygienic care and production of food animals. So the food animals means the animals which produce the food for human consumption, especially the meat products like the beef, pork, meat, or egg and milk, and even the chicken. So these food products are highly nutritious and rich in the proteins and fat. The animals can include all the cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, pigs, and similar animals according to the regional importance, maybe like the yak, camel, and the poultry as a separate entity apart from the livestock animals. So all these are called as the food animals and the poultry animals. Poultry. Now let's look at some of the technologies in the farms. Any change that leads to reduced labor and increase in the productivity can be called as a technology. The daily routines in simple enterprises will be simple, but with expansion in the enterprises and higher new enterprises with new technologies, we have to introduce new technologies and adapt them as fast as possible. Gene biotechnology have introduced highly productive tailor-made hybrid animals and breeds suitable for high productivity. They need automation systems and rapid technologies to sustain high productivity. There is a need for the automation of animal husbandry and integration of on-farm systems and processes. So we can cover these technologies available under four pillars of management, livestock management we can call. One is the technologies in breeding practices, which can include the AI technology and the other breeding technologies. Secondly, the technologies in feeding practices, whatever the feeding advancements have been taking place in the fodder production area. Thirdly, the technologies in the weed control, means the disease control practices in the livestock management. Fourthly, the technologies for heeding practices. Heeding means an important welfare term which includes the housing and care of animals. The technologies, coming to the first technologies in breeding practices, we all know in case of a cow, every cow should deliver a calf in every 12 to 13 months or every year if it is to be efficient producer. The heifer should be bred only after she attains optimum growth and age at a minimum body weight of 200 kgs or at least 18 months of age, whichever comes earlier. Careful and systematic heat detection is important tool for better reproductive management. Fertility rate will be maximum during the last 8 hours of estrus to achieve maximum conception. So these are the basic points in breeding. And when we come to the technologies, we can see use of the pedometer, which is a simple device just like our the watch we wear. The pedometer is also having capacity to record the movements of the animals, which will help in detection of the heat. It can also have other health benefits like lameness detection, sickness in the animal. So these pedometer are like devices as a sensor-based technology, which can be placed in several areas in the animal, as shown in the diagram. Maybe in the ear, in the heart, through the halter, neck collar, reticular-Roman bolus, in rear leg pedometer, upper tail ring, tail head inject, and vaginal bolus. So these are some of the methods how we can use the technology in for breeding purposes. Now let us look at the technologies in feeding practices, especially for the fodder production and better feed management. Looking at the amount of the feed that is required, the non-pregnant and dairy cows, it is necessary to provide a maintenance ration of 2.5 kg concentrate per day and 15 to 20 kgs of green fodder every day. For a dry cow, there must be, which is pregnant, we have to feed at least 3.5 kgs of maintenance ration through the concentrate and 25 kgs of green fodder. Now, when you look at this recent calvers, means which is milk producing cows, on the basis of milk production, we have to provide for every 2.5 kgs of milk produced, we have to provide 1 kg of concentrate mixture and additional 1 kg for maintenance and 30 to 35 kg of green fodder. So these are the basic things which every manager must be knowing in caring of these animals. Several devices and technologies are available when we look at this feeding. The main aim is that we should not waste any feed. So the devices which are available in the market should be manufactured and get it manufactured. So every drop of this fodder should not be wasted. So these are some devices where we can use for feeding these goats and sheep at a sufficient height of 1 to 2 feet. Now, if you look at these technologies, today we have achieved a lot of automations by using tractors. So we don't need to physically do a lot of works to get the fodder grown. So we have to use this technology, maybe drones or by tractors. So let us see some of the things what we have in our surrounding areas. In our colleges, we have got some of the instruments like this tractor mounted fodder reaper or fodder harvester, which is very simple to use, and it can be easily used to harvest the fodder, especially the corn or the ragi or whatever the fodder crops we grow. These tractor mounted reapers can be either side operated, front operated, or back operated. The main motto is it will harvest the fodder of very large areas, up to hectares or acres within an hour. So other aspect is the use of the drilling machines, seed drilling machines in the tractor, so that we can easily do the cultivation and get the seeds getting cultivated. Now coming to the harvesting, by using for making hay also, the tractors and machineries are useful without wasting any fodder from the ground, and fully it is without touching hands. It happens the hay bales are prepared, and the baling machine will preserve it in the form of the hay. So this bales, which was earlier seen in the foreign countries, have now come to the villages, and it is very easy for everyone to use this kind of machines and to store them for years together without any wastages. In this, coming to technologies, hydroponic is another new technology which has recently caught up everyone's attention, but only few species or crops like maize can be grown under this hydroponic situation. Of course, there are some drawbacks also, but with this young sprouted seeds, we definitely have good feeding alternative wherever feasible and available to give this kind of hydroponic fodder. I suggest that we have to have a year-round fodder production calendar where every crop can undergo a cycle, either it is annual or perennial, so that we can cultivate them in the whole of the year, and see that the water should be very carefully managed. In this point, I just want to mention that super napier is one of the promising grass which is available in these recent days. because they produce a very good biomass of at least 200 tons per acre of this land. So in a year, about 6 to 10 cuttings is possible at every 45 days in a year. And though it is a water intensive, we can minimize the water usage by using this drip irrigation system, which we have successfully done in many parts of our Karnataka. So I wish that we should plan this further so that animals should be able to get the green grass or the dry grass throughout the year. Another point is this green grass can also be stored in the form of the silage, either on the underground or above the ground tower silos. So silage is the very old traditional method of storing of this fodder. Now coming to third technology in weed control, I mean this is though the word applies to the agriculture, but in terms of animal science, disease control, we have to see how the better methods of sanitation, hygiene and control of diseases on dairy farm. This is not a new topic, and everyone, every person are very familiar and must be familiar about these technologies which are available as of today. I hope that many of our speakers will also be concentrating on this topic. I will touch some of the topics here also. With the aim of biosecurity measure, prompt segregation of sick animals, vaccination of the healthy animals, cleaning, disinfection of the premises, making regular use of the foot bath. Especially we should tell the standard operating procedures which are required to control the diseases and produce the good quality products, either milk or meat from the animals. Now some of the common points which are to be observed are like the vaccination. The chart should be made, and just to mention foot and mouth disease, starting from 3 months age, we have to vaccinate 2 times in a year, like March and August. For hemorrhagic septicemia, annually we have to vaccinate after 4 months of age and before the onset of the rainy season. Similarly, black waters every year in the month of June. For anthrax every year by February. So these are simple things to be known as a protective measure to prevent the diseases in the occurrence of diseases in the animals, because today prevention is better than the cure, which is the old saying. And coming to this uses of this waste, we have a lot of waste to be utilized. That is, the wealth from the waste can be created and utilized for various purposes, because every input is a very costly material in any kind of farming. In this, if you look at this, the cows, the cow dung is really a very precious gold, because only the exotic or the crossbred cows are producing more milk, whereas the Deshi cows are not capable of producing high milk production, but they are useful for Panchagavya production. The people traditionally have been using and advocating now also that Deshi cows products, it may be milk or curd or dung, urine or ghee, these are all used in, to make the Panchagavya. The Arka, go products, Gomutra, these are all very known things in all the Goshalas. They are using this for maintaining the animal, the health of the human beings. Ayurvedic products are also produced by this. So it is our motto to make best of the utilization of the animals. Now, if you look at technologies that help in the livestock production to improve the welfare and housing, there are several technologies available. To list a few here are identification of animals, record maintenance at farm level, behavior monitoring through the heat detection by using pedometer, online weight measurement by walkover weighing, disease prevention, diagnosis, treatment. There are several available equipments. Computerized farming technologies, robotic cow milking equipment, automatic feeding devices, barn environment optimization, dairy equipments like a swinging brush, cow brush. So these are all some of the technologies which we have to take a benefit by utilizing the technologies which are available to us. Now, simple housing things in case of this photo shows that sheep and goat, which we put it on a slatted house flooring with about 6 feet of height from the floor. The slatted housing improves the meat quality because the hide or the hair is not damaged. The cow dung also will be falling, that is the sheep dung will be fallen below the slatted floor. Now look at the improvement in the dairy farms. The flooring should have the rubber cow matting, rubber cow mat. So this will be very helpful for the cow to have this soft bedding while their milk production will be sustainable. Now this photo shows some defect in the house in the flooring. One must use carefully all the senses. If we look at this floor, it is made up of this kadapa stone. Basically, it is slippery floor. So this is a managemental defect. So still slippery floor will cause abducted limbs and torning or fracturing of the legs. So we should be very careful to avoid issues in the housing systems. Now, people are very familiar about keeping the animals always indoors in intensive system of rearing. And if you look at this left diagram, the leg has been tied to the travis. You can see the overgrown hoof. Lameness. This is the reason for the lameness, where the long hoof has been overgrown, and this is basically lack of exercise. Now we have genetically programmed our animals to give milk production, but their health is compromised. They are not tolerating the heat. They cannot walk under the sun. So always they are put indoor, and obviously the legs hoof start growing longer in about 3-4 years of age itself. So we have to find the solutions. Here is a abrasive wheel disc, cutting disc, which is modified for the lameness correction. We have used to cut the hoof to the required length and trim the length. So this is a new technology which we can use to correct the lameness, because once the cow become lame, the milk production will drop by 50%, and the animal, if untreated, can lead to complications permanently and culling the animal. Another improvement in the animals is to provide good brushing. Animals will enjoy grooming, auto grooming. These new facilities are available in big farms throughout the country. These are self-propelled brush, which when the cow touches this brush, the brush will automatically operate. So you can see there is also a sand bedding on the floor, which helps the animal to improve their welfare. So their productivity will increase because they feel natural surroundings. You can see the huge structures of the fans above, and also the good ventilation, so that there is no much of this dust or smoke or the obnoxious odor from this type of awning. Another point is to give proper drainage system. In this followed in Tamil Nadu University, we can see that there is a good water drainage, so that we can easily clean this cow shed and remove all the cow dung very fastly. Further, so many mechanizations are available, like the dung cleaning machines adapted to the tractor. So we should be open your mind and have little investments are necessary to provide a proper animals improvement in the case of the animals, whatever the farms we own. Now, if you look at this, some perspectives of this animal welfare point of view, we all know that Bramble Committee in 1970s have made up this 5 freedoms of animal welfare. Firstly, freedom from the hunger or thirst. Second, freedom from the discomfort. Third, freedom from pain, injury, or disease. Fourth, freedom from fear and distress. And finally, fifth one is to express the normal behavior. So All these 5 freedoms together will make the animal welfare very good. So we have some, though we speak a lot of these things, is there any method of scale adapted for this? So Calambari and Burton in 2009, based on the integrated diagnostic system welfare and Indian conditions, which is also modified by Chandan, there is some scale which we can use to measure this 5 freedoms. In these 3 components, we can take them as indicators. First one is combined in the freedoms of housing and other facilities with 30 marks. Secondly, the provision of good feed and fodder with 30 marks weightage. And thirdly, component of the animal health and behavior carrying 40 marks. So totally, when you take 100 marks in a particular farm, and we can grade the facility, how much they score. A little description of this point, sir. When you come to the housing, we should give the scorings about the systems of housing, availability of floor space, the height of the roof, type of the floor, microclimatic protection measure, feeding watering space availability, watering systems and the frequency of feeding, availability of milking parlor, availability of water for different purpose, light in the animal house. So when you add up, it goes to 30 score. Secondly, about the feed component, availability of the feed and fodder 10 score, availability of fodder storage facility, then feeding practices for different category of animal, colostrum and feeding of milk to cows and the heifers. So this feed, which is a major component, is also carrying 30 marks. So third component is about the health aspect, which includes the indicators of average productivity, body condition score, cow comfort index, cow cleanliness index, hawk injury scoring, human animal interaction, how much they are close to the human beings, that is the meaning, lameness scoring, mastitis detection, reproduction, abnormal behavior. So when you total this all to be 40, so all the 100 marks, when you look at the ranking, we grade it as excellent if it is more than 80 score, or about 60 to 79 is a good score, 40 to 59 is average, below 40 is poor. So this also reflects the productivity of the animal. Right, we will now move on to some other points about sustainable farming. We have to provide facility to sustain whatever they are producing without consuming everything, and for that we have some technologies to use the biogas. The systems of housing farming are also to be considered. Like India, we have 3 types of farming. The majority are the extensive type of farming because of the poor infrastructure facilities we have. Some people have gone for intensive factory farming system, where there is mostly put in the indoors and at very high densities. So this is a thing happening in most of the rearing system practice. The intensive farming in these nowadays, it can be applied not only for piggery, but all the types of farms have this. This is an example how the piggery are shown in the intensive. But when we have the shortage of land, that is the problem. Otherwise, intensive is not necessary for basically for a good welfare friendly farming. We have to go for extensive farming. Basically, if you look at this example in the poultry, backyard poultry birds have been produced by every universities in our country. This especially Deshi birds we call Vanaraja, the seal birds. They are very good at the backyard system of rearing, adapted. They also have good sustainability to survive on whatever they are given feed. Another aspect in poultry is we can go for this deep litter based farming layers also. In our veterinary college Gadag, we have adapted this deep litter based layer farming itself, using some nest boxes, using the oil tins and also the mud pots. So they are laying the eggs in that. We are having 80% egg production in the layers in our farm. So we are on welfare family measure also, and the birds are really healthy without any expenditures on their medication cost. Now, fourth type of emerging farming in modern day, we can call it the integrated farming system, or also called as the integrated food and waste management system. So we have the main meaning here is the residues or the wastages will form the inputs for the livestock production. The nutrient recycling happens, and the fodder crops and the animal production both undergo side by side exchange of energy and successful production. Now we have to manage a large number of animals and variety of animals at a limited time. So we have the new order of the day, that is the precision livestock farming. Everything capable of monitoring by using the CCTV or by using the mobile apps, sensor based, infrared sensor based, where we can identify the animals. And so this is the precision livestock farming, which we can on the go, wherever we are, from the mobile we can control this. Look at this, we have to have modern mobile apps also, like management information system and productive livestock. The precision livestock farming is possible to precisely identify what are the problems and to utilize the data for and analyze it as automated and converted into powerful information based PLF system. Now, some thing we have to appreciate today is there is a good network. India has the cheapest internet facility in the world, and the mobile cheap data plans have helped the millions to improve their communication, download the apps to help with the forecast and predictions and rainfall, water levels, to grow crop and fodder production, and to plan the animal management also. But the key challenge is to see that the livestock technological race we have to be successful. We have to have identification system for every animal, like the Aadhaar based what we have for the humans. Provisions should be made. Also, we should have the climate indicators which are measured on the real-time basis. And some devices which are having identification methods are inbuilt sensors will enable livestock managers to treat animals as individuals rather than as a herd or as a flock. The GPS can be used to track the animals on the farms, which are already being used in many wildlife industries, wildlife also. Radio telemetry systems are available to remotely monitor, record the physiological parameters like the heart rate, body temperature, and isolate those animals which are necessary for treatment. Transmitters are available. These are already told that they can be ingested or fixed in the ear canal or surgically implanted. Now, looking at some of the constraints, what we have this is labor management. We, India being a labor intensive, we have to have labor management oriented works also, because the cheaper labor is available, and also the land size is small. Mechanization is not fruitful. If a small farmers bring tractor, it will be waste and idle for all the time. So it has to be utilizing the labor also effectively. All farming systems are without holiday labor intensive work enterprises compared to experienced and devoted workers are required for work like milking, heat detection, care of advanced pregnant animals. Dairy owners who hire laborers must be skillful in managing people. In large dairy farms, the 2 to 3 workers must be trained for specialized jobs at the dairy farm. If you look at this laborers requirements also, the milking operations can be done by one laborer for 10 animals. In case of shed cleaning, for 25 animals, one laborer is required. And for calf management, 25 calves, one laborer. And for other works like cleaning, fodder chaffing, for every 25 calves, one laborer. So this is an indication of how the labor can be utilized. But the labors are really, human resource management is really very laborious and requires a lot of patience and delegate presence and presence of mind and a mutual cooperative work. So then only it can be successful livestock enterprise. Now, golden rules we can call in the farms. or 7 number, like one should know what are the marketing channels. Then you should be aware of the breeding, aware of the housing facilities, aware about feeding facilities, aware about welfare, aware about the health problems, and basically, seventhly, the biosecurity, which is the most important. Otherwise, it causes devastating role in the farms. The last point which has to be stressed, that is the biosecurity. Food baths should be present at every entrance of the farms, and unnecessary visitors should be avoided, and fixed daily routines should be established, which is called the standard operating procedures. Even the quarantine measures should be really very well followed when they're introducing the new animals from outside or taking the animal to outside also. They should take care of the health aspect of the animal and provision of the welfare of the animals, looking at their requirements, like in the summer, the walling facilities for the pigs, or in the winter, the protections for the young animals are all necessary thoughts to be made. Piggery, an example in case of piggery, shows how we can do more of automations. In many countries in world are having the pork as the topmost demanded product, whereas in India only 10 million pigs are there. That means there is a lot of scope for this pig farming, and this modern feeding technique will eliminate any unhygienic practices in this piggery also. Water is another big scarcity today, and we have to adapt new technologies like this nipple drinkers, so that wastage of water will be avoided in the farms. As far as possible, when we can keep this wallowing tanks for the animals, especially the pigs and buffaloes, are necessary. So they provide a good comfort for these animals. We also have to have better restraining methods. An example here is shown the pig catcher, which is a simple device. The pigs can be easily controlled for treatment, blood collection, or any other shifting purpose and other things. So we should be aware about the technologies available, and pig farmer or any other farmer should generally have all the medicines in handy. But it should be recorded and it is accountable, because undiscriminate antimicrobial resistance is also growing malady in today's animal production. And the other things which we should know, farmer is, as I told in the beginning, 1 calf a year, like that. For case of pigs, 2 times farrowing should be the norm, but it is not easy. So we have to do our best to and diagnose the pregnancy and to isolate those animals and to keep them healthy. Cleaning the premises is really very necessary. Manually, we have to clean, only then the farm can be improved. Slippery floors should be avoided, as I already told. It is better to keep this burnt stone slabs, and also slope should be there, so that the water slope passes easily without causing slippery area. That will also prevent the lameness and hoof defects, because once the hoof has problem, it is difficult to come out of that, and we end up in culling those animals also. Flour mills and grinding machineries and this mixers are also very essential in the farms. Otherwise, we depend on the purchased food, which is not recommended, because we do not know the components and composition when we pay more or less for those food. Intensive farming has a lot of problems, like leading to abnormal behaviors and poor productivity, which is not good from the welfare point of view. In case of our intensive pig production, unavoidably people are going for this foreign crates and taking the piglets, because we have to look at the piglets welfare also. So it should be very well planned with providing all the 5 freedoms for the animals as far as possible. In a simple modification, we have to go for this guardrails, like about 1.5 feet from the wall, to prevent the piglets being crushed under the mothers. Some adaptations are by using the stones in the wall, so they will prevent the sows from directly lying over the piglets. You can see savaging behavior, cannibalism, and overlying. These are all the problems. To overcome this, some possibilities of providing the lucerne, this fodder, as enrichment for these pigs. So they also get proteins also through this. Here is another thing of integration. Piggeries are known, the dung is good in nutrients. So if you put this dung channel to the ponds where the fishes can be grown, further this water can be used to grow horticulture or agriculture crops. So it's a good method of recycling the pig integrated farming system. Many farmers in the India have adapted this kind of drainage from the piggery, which is really lot of nutrients it carries because it is a monogastric animal. People have also adapted new techniques of using these SCTVs, which are very essential. In old piggeries also, they have begun to use this monitoring the laborers to prevent any theft or to advise better management aspect also. So provision of the straw for this pigs is very useful. Provision of this bedding and this heat warmth for the piglets are also essential. And we look at this model for the food of animal origin, like good slaughterhouse, processing, retailers, consumers. So a good chain is required from production to consumption. Systematic coordination is necessary. Then only it is possible to have a good food production from the animals. As this diagram shows that welfare plays a major role in good animal husbandry practices and improve the living conditions. Also, just 1 or 2 minutes, shall be winding up. Biosecurity, as we have discussed earlier, though we have to have biosecurity in the form of the fences or the gates and isolations for newcomers and constant cleaning up of the areas every day and washing of the animals. All this through the form of in the form of the standard operating procedures are necessary for all the farmers, whether they keep whatever facility they have, everything should be clean and hygienic. So then we can expect the good production from these animals. We can conclude by telling that we have to follow the good practices for animal health, milking, hygiene, nutrition, feed offering, or the maintain the animal welfare, having the good environment, socio-economic management. So our main criteria is to keep this in a good present, understanding the present circumstances, utilizing the technologies and knowing the laws and limits, like if it is for export or import or whatever it is, the animals products or byproducts should be very hygienic. And today people are also paying more money for the welfare friendly farming, whether it is organic, you call it as organic farming, or whatever it is a simple farming. We have to keep that in a hygienic way so that our value addition takes place and we have the value for the products which we are producing. So I think I thank you for having patience to listening to my talk.
Thank you, Dr. Prasanna, for excellent presentation.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Now there will be
If anybody
question and answer
has
session. Yeah. Now from the participants, if any questions are there, please ask.
Sir, we have one of the participants. So
yes.
question is that he has asked that is horse is a food animal. As we have learned, horse meat is used for adulterating the beef meat. So he wants expert comment from over this question.
We are concentrating on the products from the food animals. So India is not known for horse meat. Horses are only meant only for either races or for carrying draft purpose. No need to worry about that point.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So I request other participants if they have any doubts, so they can ask directly or they can write the questions in the chat box so that we can ask to the speaker. Don't think any other question is there. Any one of you want to ask any other question? Yes, sir. Please.
This is Venkat. So that scoring pattern you have given, right? Component A, component B, component C. Again, there is a breakup you have given. Is there any checklist kind of thing is there to make the scores from your side? If that kind of checklist will be there, it is very useful for the animal farming. Then they will score better way in saying that, okay, this is excellent or this is average and everything. Easily they can guide.
Yeah, you see, sir, we are knowing about the 5 freedoms, but we how to put it in practice, we are not familiar. So only that method of giving value, if it is quality wise, we can keep on talking at length, but quantity is very important. No? That is why for less than 40 or 60 or 80, 100 like that, we can give the scoring, and that we can grade it as A grade, B grade, C grade farm like that. No? So the if branding is made like that, so that A grade welfare practices are very well. That is how we can advocate the lawmakers to implement this kind of standards. So this is a recently developed method only. So I think everyone easily can adapt that component A, B, C and implement that in their farms, sir.
Yes, I do 100%. I do agree. The only thing is most of the farmers are the illiterates. See, example, we can guide them and everything. One point you have given as a productivity kind of thing. Productivity kind of thing, even total score given as a 8. But what is the productivity kind of thing? Which productivity is good and everything? They don't have the proper idea of that. If they will act, example, cow can give the 10 liter, 15 liter, 20 liter, that is a good productivity. If they are having that kind of the scale, easily they can give the scaling on that.
You are right, sir. If we like the organic milk produced has a higher rates compared to the traditional or the intensively reared milk, so that productivity is not having higher score compared to that other points, no. So that shows that overall welfare is important in that. If a farmer is focused on only production, his other welfare will be reduced. So he cannot score A grade in that. So we are just introducing this concept in advanced countries like Europe or America. We can see there is no factory farmings have been reduced. There is no promotion for free range grazing. That is the promoted. They pack it and they print it on the milk also that it is produced free farming method of rearing like that. So I want to introduce this in Indian conditions. We don't know when this will all take place. Slowly it will definitely come up in the future, sir.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for your valuable views and inputs.
Sir, we have another question. One of the participants he has asked, can you explain about the pre-harvest and post-harvest food safety? Sir, can you hear me?
Post-harvest food safety, sir. I think this is not clearly described, the question. Pre-harvest and post-harvest, maybe it applies to the milk also. clean milk production, this really is a very good topic. Dr. Devraj Naik, my colleague, will also be talking day after tomorrow about milk, clean milk production. I think and definitely different participants, different valuable speakers are there who are going to talk about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure, sure. They will answer.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, sir, already you have covered what are the pre-harvest the technologies are there to, the produce or protect the food safety aspects in your topic elaborately. Okay, and the post-harvest definitely now that series of lectures are there. So what are the points to be covered in the post-harvest of any kind of the animal origin food that will be covered the period goes on. Okay, as such. So thank you so much, sir, giving very nice information about what are the new techniques and even the artificial intelligence mainly used for the kind of animal caring and management are taken at farm level in order to produce healthy animals. Okay, as you know that the healthy animals, so you definitely get an healthy food, and the people they will consume the healthy food, they will live a healthy people will be there. So that part already you have covered. Thank you so much, sir. We'll pass on to the next today's speaker, Dr. Vikas Vaskar. Dr. Vikas Vaskar is a professor and head at the Department of Veterinary Public Health, Kranti Singh Nana Patil College of Veterinary Science, Shirwad, District Satara, Maharashtra. So he has a good track record of the educational qualification. He is a PhD person and his professional experience of 25 years from the research assistant to the now is a professor and head at KNP College in Shirwar. He has the recipient of many awards. To name some of these, he is a recipient of the Kokan Kushe Vidyapit Gold Medal Award for standing first during the graduation. He is also the recipient of the Poonawalla Gold Medal as a best all-rounder student during BBC and AH degree program. He has received the Bombay Veterinary College Diamond Jubilee Commemoration Prize for standing first at first year BBC and AH degree program. And he is also the fellow of Indian Association of Veterinary Public Health Specialists. He has handled successfully the various research projects. As a PI, there is one research project of the detection of pesticide residues from the animal foods funded by the ICAR, and three projects he has handled as a co-PI, and two out of that they are World Bank funded NATP projects. Dr. Vaskar, he has also undergone the various training programs. There are 10 training programs, and out of that, one training programs abroad. And he has trained on hands-on training on pesticide residues at Pennsylvania State University, USA. His key areas of interest is the molecular characterization of the foodborne pathogen from the animal origin products, risk assessment and management in processing of the livestock origin food, detection of pollutants and contaminants from the livestock origin products, surveillance and monitoring of zoonotic disease of these regional areas. He has published 7 chapters in the various textbooks, 18 lead papers in the various national and international symposia, 76 research articles including 17 international publications, 178 conference, symposia, seminar, research abstract, and 54 technical extension articles in English and Marathis. So today we have Dr. Vikas Vaskar, a professor and head of the Department of Veterinary Public Health, and he is going to speak on the topic regulatory guidelines and the challenging issues in the transportation of food animals for the slaughter purpose. So I request and invite Dr. Vikas Vaskar to present the topic. Dr. Vaskar, sir, please.
I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for inviting me, and thanks to all the organizers, particularly our university office. Is it visible now? Not visible for me.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, it is visible. You can put it on Zoom mode. Slideshow. Right.
Dr. Jinde, is it visible?
Yeah, visible, but you put it on slideshow mode. I wanted-
Hello.
हा सर, आवाज येतोय तुमचा.
Okay. Can I?
I think Dr. Vaskar sir, you just put off your video. I think that is why there is a internet connection problem. And now we can present.
From regulatory point of view as well as from the animal welfare point of view. See, this is a very important aspect of animal welfare, and this is a situation, or this is a pitiful situation, a pitiful scenario.
Sir, I think there is network issue. You are not audible, sir. Please increase your volume.
Is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see the slides?
Yes, first slide is there. You can put it on slide mode, sir.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. It's
Okay.
visible.
Black. Yeah. Dr. Vilas, can I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay. Okay. So I was referring to this slide in India, but not just India, not to blame India only, but throughout the globe also, and apart from some of the European or American countries, most of the Asian and
Sir, your voice is breaking. Keep your microphone near.
only. Okay. Coming to the challenging issues in transportation of the food animals. Freedoms, which have been outlined as freedom from hunger, malnutrition and thirst, freedom from fear and distress, freedom from physical and thermal discomfort, freedom from pain, injury and disease behavior.
Slide is not moving, sir.
Dr. Vaskar sir, जे slide move होत नाही, number one, and number two, your voice is breaking. Okay, only one or two sentences we are listening, and rest of things no.
Okay, okay. I will do one thing. I will be mailing you the slides. Please share from your end. Such slide.
आपल्याकडे आहे? हाँ ठीक है, you can do that. Okay, you can mail it to NHEP cast mumbai@gmail.com.
One second.
हाँ?
Give me a second.
मुंबई नाहेब अच्छा तुमच्यावर तो आहे का? ओके मुंबई नाहेब कास्ट
One second.
@gmail.com.
हाँ. एकच मिनिट.
दिलाय का? दे ना. Put it in chat box. Mumbai Naheb cast. Okay. CASST. To all. Send it. Vaskar sir, that the email already it is put it on the chat box.
Okay.
Send it down. We will share from here.
Sure.
Hala? Refresh.
interference.
Thoda, please loudly. Okay, you just keep your microphone near. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, next please. So unfortunately, this is the I will be showing some of the pictures which exactly depict the typical. And this is a petty situation what we are facing. And as I said in the beginning itself, that may not be all the next.
Dr. Vaskar sir, you are not audible.
Is it audible now?
Hello.
Yeah.
हा थोडं मध्ये मध्ये ब्रेक होतोय पुढंच आवाज जातोय तुमचा. It's very inconvenient to the participant. Okay. You can speak on mobile, na?
So we have to look into when we are talking about animal welfare issues, particularly transportation, we have to look into these 5 freedoms: freedom from hunger, malnutrition, thirst; freedom is yeah, okay. The transportation purpose of transportation of food animal. They can be taken to the dark area, maybe during the change of ownership, and as well as for the slaughter. Next, please. And few of the common methods which
Sir, in between your voice is breaking.
I have put it in the full volume. I don't know what is the problem with the thing. Just check. I'm using the not an issue. Should not be issue. This method is comparatively suitable for a short distance from farm to slaughterhouse or from non-immediately transferred facilities. The journey preferably is carried out during early morning and late evening, maybe during the cooler parts of the day with intermittent halt. By the animals should commensurate with the stress and capacity of the animal, and distance trek depends on various number of factors like age, weather, body condition, and many others. Next, please. Yeah. So this is the maximum number of next one. So only this the welfare and value of the animals, and sometimes it may result into the fatigue. Okay. So road and vehicle transport, particularly the most common method of choice and most usual time of journey, species of animal, maybe the single deck trucks or buffaloes, and double deck truck for the goat, sheep, goat, and pigs can be used. The next one, next please. Harvey. अच्छा
Okay. So I am requesting all participants, please wait for 5 minutes. So there is technical issue. Actually, there is network connectivity issue there. So now, Dr. Vaskar sir is joining with another laptop. So please wait.
झाले कनेक्ट केलं. So am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Very much audible. Sir, please continue.
Okay. Right. Sorry for this technical glitch again, once again. So this could be the single deck trucks or double deck trucks which can be used commonly for transportation of the food. Next slide, please.
Next day.
Okay. Railways may be used for short haul journeys, particularly when there is a direct connection between. Moving the rail wagons requires particularly very careful management because the animals, the feeding and watering may create certain difficulty. That's why. So the trains, once it leaves the particular place, it should not stop at intermittently, but directly to the station where it is being unloaded. Okay. The suitably designed wagons having adequate space, ventilation, floor, roof, drainage systems, they can be designed properly for transportation by railways. Single deck wagons for buffaloes or cattle, or double deck for sheep, goat, pigs, they can be commonly followed as rail and road transportation, but across the canals, rivers, or seashores, a small number of animals, particularly sheep, carried from one shore. Feasible or practicable for carrying the food animals for slaughter. Okay, next one. Next slide, please. Next, please. While we are transporting the animals with either road or road, some of the prerequisites are very important to look into, and some of the most important aspect will be the vehicles. Vehicles may be in the form of lorries or the wagons, which are being used either for road transportation or rail transportation. So there's non-slippery floor with proper drainage and provide protection from sun and rain, particularly for pigs, may be very essential. Slides or the sides of the vehicle or the wagon should be smooth and enough through which the leg can be protruded, but the gaps should be adjusted so that the legs or the horns cannot protrude, but it can provide the proper ventilation to the animals. Which result into deterioration of the quality of the food animals. So these rail wagons can be fitted with spring coupling to cushion to avoid any jerky movements. Roof may not be necessary. Constraint which has been used, and existing stocking density is very important as far as the pigs are concerned. The vehicle movement is concerned. Next one. the death of the animal because of due to trampling on one another or due to suffocation for that matter. Space should be adjusted according to breed and body size. It's necessary that, okay, that particular norm should be followed, but yes, exactly depending upon what is the body size or what is the breed of the animal, the space can be adjusted. And if the floor area is too large, the partition should be used to avoid the animals. We'll be coming to that at the next point. Next, please. So these are some of the stocking densities which are given our space requirement, which is given as per the next, please. The fluid living condition precautions particularly which are required to be taken while animal they yeah. Mixing of the different species of the animal should be avoided because most of the times it is been observed that whenever we load the animals into the trucks,
Sir, you are not audible.
Not audible, sir. Not audible. Not audible.
Hello, Dr. Vaskar sir, you are not audible.
Sir, you are not audible.
So all the participants, please wait for a few minutes. There is some technical problem from the speaker side. So sir is correcting. Just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. We will start again. Just wait.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your voice now it is coming.
Yes, audible.
Is the slide visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
Okay. So these are the, sorry for the, I'm terribly sorry for this technical glitch which is happening today. These are the common methods as we can see for transportation of the common food animals, particularly for cattle buffaloes, we can track the animals on foot or by through the rail transport or through road or by using the different types of trucks. For sheep and goat, the same way methods can be used. Pigs, of course, trekking on foot may not be feasible one because the pigs exhaust very easily. Rail transport and rail transport is very commonly used, and for poultry, of course, it's a road transport, which is the easiest way of transporting the food animals. Okay, so the suitably designed such type of trucks, which can be replaced as earlier picture what we saw in the beginning. So these are the human methods of transporting the food animals, particularly from places to places. For maybe for the short distances or for the long distances, we're taking the due precautions during transportation, and different unloading type of platforms can be provided so that the animals can be easily loaded and unloaded during transportation. stocking density, unfamiliar group of mixing, then height of the day, noise, all these factors, they are equally responsible causing the stress. Some of the parameters which can be used for observing this stress could be the heart rate, respiratory rate, the muscle tremors, then the blood osmolality, red blood cells, eating, drinking behavior. So all these factors which coupled with that can be used for a measurement of the stress on the animals. I'm not going much of the details of this because this could be too technical to deal with at this particular point of time. So coming to what are the effects of transportation? If the proper effects transportation is not followed, it ultimately affects the quality of the meat which is being produced. Then it may lead to transport mortality as well. Another one is there could be a shrinkage also. Sometimes it may lead to the affections which are induced during transportation. Some physiological responses of the animal may change. There could be behavioral alteration in the animals and immunosuppression. So hurriedly, we'll go through some of the factors which are more importantly, which affects the transportation. Most importantly, effect of quality. Okay, so what is one important aspect? The poor transportation has effect on welfare as well as loss of quality and production. One important factor could be the stress to the animals due to excessive handling and long journey that results in DFD beef as well as PSC pork. And DFD beef and all those people who are attending these I think they are very much familiar with these terms. The meat becomes dark, firm, and dry, which is not easily cooked, and it affects the quality of the meat. Sometimes the pigs, this condition results pale soft executive because of the improper handling. Animal may exhaust, leading to the weight loss and poor quick quality of the meat. There could be dehydration because of the long distance if the proper watering is not provided, leading to weight loss and occasionally death of the animals as well. Heat stroke, whenever the animals are transported during high environmental temperatures and humid conditions, leading to the poor quality of the meat. Bruising, excessive bruising will lead to the poor coping quality, and sometimes it could be the heart failure, wherein the animals may die if they are overfed, particularly pigs, during prior to transportation. So this is one of the picture which shows excessive handling and bruising, which is resulting on the carcass. And one important aspect is unless and until we deskin the animal, the bruising will not be evident. So in such cases, the meat keeping quality of the meat is not proper. So the meat has to be condemned. So that it ultimately leads to the loss to the meat industry. Transport mortality that. Hello.
You're audible.
Is it any issue?
Very good, very good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm continuing then. Okay. So transport mortality is another important concern. There should not be more than 1% death during transportation, and if it is more than that, then proper remedial measures, mitigation measures are required to be adopted. The shrinkage is nothing but loss of weight during transportation, because maybe due to the excretion of the fecal material, urine, or during sweating, and that depends upon the condition, season, and journey time. So these are some of the figures which have been adopted from FAO guidelines. So some of the losses there, and more importantly, these losses, once animal they arrive in the slaughter premises, during lairages, proper feeding and watering arrangements are to be required to be done so that the animals they cope up with these losses. Then coming to certain affections which are induced in animal during transport, some diseases like shipping fever or tetany, FMD, mastitis, enterotoxemia, they could result into the animals, particularly when they have been stressed or they've been transported due to these factors. So one has to, during antibiotic inspection, one has to look for these cases as well. So some of the miscellaneous conditions, they may result like heat shock, maybe indigestion, ketosis, transport injuries, which are also required to be taken care of. So I will be sharing few pictures wherein the animals, they have shown some injuries, which are affections which are induced during transportation. And suitably, the veterinarian in charge has to look into these welfare aspects, and then the fate of the animal will be decided whether to pass for slaughter or give the sufficient rest treat them, and then these animals can be passed for slaughter. So this stress, so mitigation of the stress which the animals they are recovered during transportation, that becomes a very important. So for which the pre-loading precautions are required to be taken, the proper loading ramp and loading and unloading ramps are required to be provided during loading and unloading. Otherwise, there is a practice of just sheep, or particularly which are observed by sheep, goat, and pig, just throwing the animals into the containers or the wagons or lorries should not be, such practice should be discouraged. Then vehicles which are required for transportation should be properly designed, as it was been discussed earlier. Driving should be smooth one without jerks or stress to the animals. Age and health status prior to transportation is required to be taken into consideration. Only healthy animals are required to be transported, and water food are supplied at regular intervals in order to cope up with the losses that they lead to during transport. So sufficient rest should be given in the larynges once the animal they arrive, and if required, electron mineral feeding or high energy feeding, giving the minerals and vitamins in diet may be essentially required to mitigate these losses. So coupled with the more important aspect is that there are certain ethical issues which are involved in transportation of the animals, particularly when we are transporting the animals. These ethical issues like which type of animals, what with only the permitted animal at the legal age, then certain conditions are required to be fulfilled, and this has to be a complete responsibility of the people who are involved, from collection of the animals, loading of the animals, transportation of the animals, involved in unloading the animals, so which are handling the people, handling the animals. So it is a collective responsibility, and this collective responsibility coupled with ethical issues and regulatory guidelines, these are the important aspects to protect the animal welfare. So with this, now we are switching over to the what are the regulatory guidelines in India which have been followed. So these are some of the laws which have been related, and the most important law which has been guiding the transportation of the animals is the Prevention of Cruelty to the Animals Act 1960, which is amended from time to time. Then Transport of Animal Rules, then Transport Animals Amendment Rules, which have been amended in 2001 and 9. Prevention of Cruelty to the Animal, Transport of Animals Rule, Animal Preservation Conservation Act, Motor Vehicles Act. In addition, we have the two BIS standards, particularly one was enacted for pigs, and then later on which has covered for the transport of livestock. And mind well, everyone is aware that it is all these guidelines, they are followed by one statutory body, particularly the Animal Welfare Board of India, which is looking into these conditions, which are mandatorily following all these precautions. So I will be taking it not be possible in a very short period of time to cover up all these laws and regulatory guidelines. I'll be just giving the gist of laws. We can very well download all these acts and rules which are easily available, particularly from the Animal Welfare Board of India site, or you can just Google it. Okay. Coming to the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960, particularly Section 3, which deals with prevention of unnecessary pain or suffering to the animals, and it states that it is a responsibility of the persons to take all reasonable measures to ensure the well-being of the animal. So that is as per the Section 3. Section 4, setting up the Animal Welfare Board to put up the welfare standards and so that the animals are not exploited. The next one, very important, Section 11 particularly, it deals with the transportation of the animals, and which clearly states that animals should be transported in order to prevent any sufferings. So which includes the loading of the animals without any so that these animals, they are at ease during transportation. And this Section 11 also talks about the makes it a punishable offense with a fine as well as 3 months jail sentence. Then come the Transport of Animals Rules, which are enacted in 1978. Particularly these Transport of Animal Rules, chapter by chapter, it has given the different very good guidelines for transport of dogs, cats, monkeys, or food animals like cattle, sheep, and goats, which has been amended from time to time. In 2001, which has included transport of poultry, then pigs, And also now recently in 2009, it has been amended to include certain modification with respect to the space based on the different types of animals. So salient provisions of these particular rules: animals transported by road or rail must be accompanied by veterinary certificate that they are fit to travel and by first aid equipment. So that is one of the important aspects. Average space per animal should not be less than 2 square centimeter, and ropes and platforms should be used for loading. Okay, the space requirement, okay, in another certain guidelines also, the space requirement, every individual species has been given. They should be properly fed and given the water at the first well before they are transported. Some other provisions which are made under this act: water and food should be available throughout the journey. Cattle, when they are transported by road, maximum number allotted each wagon should have at least one attendant for per wagon. There should be padding on floor and adequate ventilation to the animal. If they are transported by road, specially fitted goods vehicle should be used. And if the other ordinary usual trucks are used, they should be provided anti-sleeping material, and there should be attendant to look after the animal. And no more than 6 cattle can be carried in one vehicle. Okay, of course, that is the maximum. But depending upon what is the breed, what is the body size of the animal, the number can be reduced. There should not be only overcrowding. See, the one important aspect, although it is said 6 cattle, but depending upon the body size, the number can be reduced. Then comes the transport animal rules, which have been amended in 2001, the same one which has been amended. The chapter 7 of this particularly deals with the transportation of the poultry. So there are certain guidelines which have been given. The bird should be in healthy condition. They should be fed and watered. Okay, they should not be placed on top of another. They should be properly covered. Another, if they are carried from a rail, then not more than 12 hours of journey, attendance should be there. There should be proper ventilation. Then if it is through air travel, the containers carrying poultry should be kept near the doors and unloaded immediately upon arrival. So these are some of the specifications which have been given. Also, for containers which have been used for carrying the poultry, prohibition of use of wire mesh or net at the bottom. Also, there should be provision of fire extinguisher in the transport vehicle, so that in case of any mishap, immediately the precautionary measures can be taken out. Then comes the prevention of cruelty to the animals, transportation of animals on foot, particularly when the animals are carried from one place to another, particularly from one village to another. The distance should not be between somewhere between the 5 kilometers to more than 5 kilometers. So all animals should be held in good condition, accompanied by veterinary certificate, veterinary aid certificate, and very importantly, the animals which are newborn, diseased, blind, emaciated, fatigue, and those who are given the birth to the new young ones, they should not be transported. So it is as per the prevention of cruelty to the animals rules. Some other provisions in this act are: water and feeding should be carried out. Nobody is allowed to use the whip or sticks so that to make the animal walk faster. Animal, if it is to be tied, the cushion rope should be used. If 2 animals are tied together, only 2 feet distance should be there between the 2 animals, and not more than 2 animals should be tied. The animals cannot be transported after sunrise or after sunset. So during daytime only the animals can be transported, and they should not be allowed to walk during any adverse conditions that has been highlighted. So this is the can say the time as per this act, how much time the animal can, or how much distance they can be allowed to go on, as well as the time, which is not more than 8 hours per day at temperature between ranging between 12 to 30 degrees C. Okay. Additionally, very recently in food safety standards also, they also have one provision under FSS Act 2006, where their guidelines have been given for pre-slaughter handling of the animals, with reference to transport of animals. Only healthy animals, they are allowed to be transported with certified by a qualified veterinary inspector. Transportation of the animals, there should be protective vaccination quarantine for at least 30 days if they are transported from endemic areas to the non-endemic areas. Female, particularly in the advanced stage of pregnancy, should not be transported. All animals must be treated humanely, and sufficient space is required to be given. Light feeding, watering facilities, first aid is required, and inspection of the animals before they are being transported is very, very essential. It is mandatory. So there is in commensurate to that, in order to make the provisions for loading the animal, their amendment has been made in Central Motor Vehicle Rules with the 11th Amendment in 2016. So those animals which have been carried, they should have the permanent partitions to enable performance of animal individually in each partition. So this is a recent amendment which is commensurate with the earlier laws which I just narrated down, and this is the size of partitions which are required to be provided to the animals while they are being transported. So these are some of the regular requirements which are being enacted. And additionally, we have the two important guidelines, particularly which are put forth by European standards, Code for Transport of Pigs by Rail and Road, which has been earlier it was enacted in 1983, but comprehensive guide is now available with IS 14,904, which is for transport of livestock code of practice, wherein all the details for all different types of species of animals they are available. So the interested learners can just download both these standards, and they can very well use for the practice. Coming to the role of the Animal Welfare Board of India. So this is, as I said, this is the statutory advisory body which regulates the animal welfare laws and also promotes the animal welfare activities in the country. Established in 1962 under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, under the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, at headquarters at Chennai. Role and responsibility of this body are to ensure the animal welfare laws in the country are diligently followed, to provide grants to the animal welfare organization, and advising the government of India on different animal welfare issues. Maybe related to the food animals, related to the transport of the animals, related to pet animals, animals which have been used for games, animals which have been kept in the zoos, all other laws and many other aspects, even for the exploitation of the animal, they have been governed by this Animal Welfare Board of India. Okay. So this is very important that this is pertinent that the animal welfare, particularly while maybe during the time managing the animals at the farm, maybe transporting the animal for food purposes, then once the animals are loaded, during transport, during slaughter, all these aspects, the animal welfare has to be completely followed in tandem with the different regulatory requirements. And that is a very important aspect. One should always be in the mind. And with this, I just finish up my topic with the very famous quote by our father of nation. The greatness of the nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. And I think this is very sufficient, just how we should look, how we should treat the animals, and that gives the very important aspect. Once again, I apologize. I am extremely sorry for this technical hitch which has happened, and thanks for giving the patient learning to me and bearing with me. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for nice presentation. Now,
thank you, sir.
Request the participants for the questions, please.
Sir, we have two questions, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, first question asked by a participant that are there any FSSI guidelines for the transportation of animals?
I think one of the slides I showed this. Yes, there are guidelines also for FSSI, but FSSI is not much dealing with as far as transportation is concerned. There are simple guidelines that have been given by FSSI. Moreover, it is to the Animal Welfare Act and Cruelty to the Animals Act. More guidelines they can found in Animal Prevention Cruelty to the Animals Act, and as well as you can just refer to both the BIS standards. Both the BIS standards, particularly the latter one, which has completely it has covered transportation guidelines for all different types of animals, including food animals.
Thank you, sir. Sir, another question is asked by a participant, how we can maintain the distance between poultry during transportation?
Okay, there are specific rules which have been framed particularly for transportation during the cage birds, and in the again the recent amendments and still the battery cages, that issue I think most of the participants are well aware that it is still under the, you can say, the consideration of the judiciary. No concrete decision has yet made. There are some decisions have been made by the some societies and some. So the issue is still pending with the Honorable Supreme Court of India.
Thank you, sir. Any other participant who want to ask any question? So you can ask directly or you can write in the chat box. If anyone want to ask, he can ask directly to sir or can write in the chat box.
If we see, I'm Runa Rafiq from Assam, Guwahati.
Yeah, please.
If we see some violation in animal transportation, who is the department we should report to?
Yeah, okay. The one thing you can take the help of the even some of the NGOs also for that matter. And again, some people who have been authorized by Animal Welfare Board of India, and yes, the veterinarian who is in that particular place. But again, as per the Prevention of Animal Cruelty to Act, the police authorities have been authorized. Maybe the you can take up to the police station and that okay, such and such violation of this particular norm has been taken. Okay, so some NGOs they are also already working in this place, veterinarians and the police. Okay, so these could be the authorities for that. Thank you.
Sir, thank you. But last time it so happened that there was a big truck of pigs that fell into a ditch inside, just outside the city of Guwahati. I talked to the police, they couldn't help. I talked to the veterinarian, they couldn't help. They said they didn't have enforcement power. And then I informed the district administration at the end. I called up the deputy collector, the district collector, and I informed him. But it is a very gray area. I wanted to bring it to your notice that it is a very gray area, very difficult to enforce. And we need some more stricter laws and some clearer directions on this. This is my humble submission, sir.
Yes, Runa, very rightly you have pointed out. This is a gray area. I think it is a society, or in general, we the people in the society, we veterinarians, and it becomes our moral responsibility to protect the 5 freedoms of the animal. But unfortunately, it has been jeopardized. So that is one of the important aspects. And may it be a police, maybe a veterinarian. So the way we look at the animals, how compensate with the animal, that is very important aspect. Unless and until the society changes its view to look at the animal, that becomes so that has to be a very important one.
Thank you, sir. Any other question?
Hi, this is Talha Dalvi from Mumbai.
Yeah.
So, what was said about the maximum number of animals being transported. Here, I'm talking about buffaloes. So, its maximum is 12, provided they are under that certain weight, right?
No, it's 6.
It's 6 for 500 kgs, and there's a table, I believe.
As I said, it is maybe a 6, but again, it varies from breed to breed. Okay. So
Right.
if we have 2 different breeds of the animals. Okay, if we just compare the Marathwada buffalo and along with the Mehsana or the Surti, of course, these are the hefty breeds. Another important aspect is with Surti, the legs are comparatively shorter, whereas in Zaprabadi or Pandharpuri, the legs would be, the horns would be bigger. So considering all these aspects, see, these are the guidelines. But it's not necessary that, okay, as I said, the unit truck has a capacity of 6. That doesn't mean that you should trample all the 6 animals to that. One has to take the call depending upon the situation, depending on the size of the animal, breed of the animal. The only thing is the animal welfare should not be jeopardized. So that is the important constraint.
I understand that point. What I was trying to discuss is basically there is from minimum 6 to maximum 12. So obviously we have to ensure the safety of the animals, but at the same time, what I was wondering is if you see the capacity of the vehicle, okay, the carrying capacity of the vehicle is much more larger in terms of weight, but here since these are animal and livestock, right? So we have to take care, and that's the reason the numbers are restricted. But what's the outcome of that ultimately is that the cost per animal, the transportation cost per animal is going high. And that is ultimately affecting the farmers and everyone in the trade, everyone in the business. So I would like to understand, are there any policies or something wherein, we can have a lower cost on transportation, provided we give better facilities for the animals for the transportation at the same time? How can we look at this aspect?
Definitely. See, the law is at one hand, and at the same another two important aspects that one has to consider. One is the animal welfare, as you have rightly pointed out. At the same time, the law. Okay. So by coupling both the things together, we cannot compromise with the animal welfare, and again we have to adjust with the legal framework also. And as I rightly said, okay, that we adds to the cost of the transportation. But looking into that, it's not necessarily that okay, and that depends upon what the size of animal truck or the vehicle you are using. If it is a tempo, if it is a big truck, if it is a lorry, it depends upon the how much the space which is being given within the legal framework. So that has to be taken into consideration without compromising with the animal welfare.
So see, that's what my question exactly is. So you take any of these category. For instance, if you say 600 kg animal, maximum is 6, right? And say 300, the maximum is 12. So if you basically multiply these numbers, you'll get 3.6 ton. But a truck carrying capacity is much more than that. So ultimately, we are putting the cost factor is going high. But I understand the welfare of animal is very important. So can there be a specially designed trucks or something? Is there a provision for those things wherein the ultimate cost factor can be reduced, keeping the animal welfare in mind?
Definitely, it can be. It can be. Only thing is, you only have given the answer that okay, the three things that to be combined together: the welfare, the costing, as well as the legal requirements. And based on that, one can just, of course, this will be the some random equation with the equations you have to make, and then accordingly, one can transfer the animals.
So these kind of provisions are there which can be worked out.
Yeah, definitely, it can be. Yes.
Thanks a lot, sir.
I will also add to this answer. Okay, the government of India, the FSSAI. Okay, I think Alana Sons Limited, they also designed a vehicle for the transportation of the animals, and they are getting an approval from the FSSAI also. Okay, so what Dr. Vaskar sir has said right now. So the number of animals, what are the old acts and guidelines are there, which are mainly given by the Animal Welfare of India. Okay, nowadays that vehicles, they are now it is increased. They are now it is a bigger size. Okay, in order to, as Mr. Talwar says, that to reduce the transportation cost, and also we have to look after the welfare of the animal. So for that, on that line also, some of the traders or the entrepreneurs, they are working on that, and they are designing their own vehicles for transportation of animals from the farm to the slaughterhouses out to the market area. And these vehicles are there. And what are the guidelines? Old guidelines are there, whether it is amended or not. Okay, based on that, we have to just load the animals into the vehicles, giving the as per the space area requirement for the live animals, large size buffalo, big size buffalo. Okay, so what are their sizes are in there? So accordingly, we can have the facility for transportation of animals, and this also the design in our country.
Great, sir. Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. More question. During transportation, what is the distance suggest for the rest of the animal?
I'm not getting the question. Please, can you repeat?
Sir, just a minute, just a minute, sir.
So the question, it is written here in the chat box that how for long we can travel the animals either by road or rail, and then we have to provide the rest to the animals. So suppose about 600 kilometer distance is there from the market to the slaughterhouse. So in between, at what distance we can provide the rest to the animals? We can unload, they can put the animals.
I don't think that the distance may not be always the criteria. It was already been given in one of the tables. Yeah, it is the how much distance usually by foot the animals cannot be run more than 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. Distance, condition of the road, then the what is the length, depending upon all these factors, I think the rest is required to be given to the animals. Okay, that may not be only the distance. Okay, that only the 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers, or 100 kilometers. Depending upon his distance, could be short, 10 kilometers only. If the condition of the road is not good, then may not be in position to cover that distance in that stipulated period of time. Again, as it was Mr. Talladalvi said about the space requirement, distance, and the rest, they are also required to be calculated without compromising on the animal welfare. If the animal, if considering that okay, the distance is there, it is very short, but the condition of road is not good, the weather is bad, definitely it is going to put the stress on the animals. So ultimately, one has to compromise. One has to judge based on the how well the animal can be transported from one point to another, maybe by on foot, or maybe by rail, or maybe by road.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, after this discussion, we'll, I think, end of the today's session. I thank our today's first speaker, Dr. E.S.B. Prasanna, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Livestock Farm Complex, Veterinary College, Gadag, Karnataka, for excellent presentation. And after that discussion, I thank our today's second speaker, respected Dr. Vikas Vaskar, sir, Professor and Head, Department of VPH, KNPVC, Sirwad, District Satara. And sir's topic was delivered on regulatory guidelines and challenging issues in transportation of food animals. So thank you very much, sir, for your excellent presentation. So now I declare that today's session is over, and I request all the participants for the tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session will start at 10:50 a.m. So please join 10 minutes before the start of the session. So thank you one and all.
Thanks one and all. Thank you again, and also my apologies for this technical hitch which has occurred during the presentation. Thanks one and all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So some of the
Sir, thank you. Thank you very much.
we are asking for the PowerPoint presentation. So I would like to inform all of you that after this training program is over, we will upload all the PowerPoint presentation in the form of video in our website. So from where you can download those presentations, and you can use for future references. Thank you.